Hello and welcome everyone to the Skinny Jean Gardener Show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome. If you listen on the podcast, welcome to you. Welcome to Sugget, who's in the comments. Good evening to you, Mr. Sugget. Good evening to Beddoes. Hello, Beddoes. There's nothing better than starting an amazing podcast show tonight with the Bearded Growers, everybody. Then Beddoes whacking into the comments saying, nothing better to do, so I thought I'd come on and join you. Thanks, Beddoes. Thanks, mate. Really nice. What a great uplifting comment to start the show. Thank you. Mr. Simon Jackson in the comments tonight. He's an evening, Mr. Connolly. Should we get on with it? Crikey, we've not even started. Dave's allotment. Crikey, everyone's jumping in tonight. How are we doing, everyone? I've got a great show coming up for you tonight with JJ from the Bearded Growers. You ain't heard from them. You'll know about it at the end of this show, everybody. You will know about it. I must say thank you to our sponsors, works-uk.com. Everyone, I don't know how I do my house refurb at the moment without them. Works-uk.com, bestdaysvintage.co.uk, and of course the School Gardening Success Plan. Let me know if you're about. Say hello in the comments, but before that, let's hit the intro. You're beaming positivity and radiance. You look amazing, mate. What just happened? Hey, mate. Or, right, I love singing, right? So I could be a singer, you could be a backing dancer, band. Oh my God. Oh, I know this. Oh, guys. Right. Oh my. Oh, right. We're just going to have to go off script for a second. Absolutely idiot proof. Oh my gosh, Danny. Forget it. Get out of here. That was unexpected. Right. Coming up on the show. Right. Hang on a second. Because JJ. Wait. The reason I say I can't see the pit. Wait there. Hang on. I think that's it. Well, I know that's it. Right. In the comments, dear listener, right? In the comments, John Jordan popped up saying, I'm here. I ain't seen John Jordan in my comments before. And I thought, well, maybe I didn't really think, oh, JJ, now it makes sense. I've just checked the picture. It's a picture of him with Adam Frost. I had a picture with him at Malvern. I'm not on his profile picture. Don't know what that's about. Let's get into tonight's show. It's coming up later on in the show in about 10 minutes, everyone. Hello, Ruth. Good evening to you. Let me know if you're about in the comments tonight. Hey, we might be able to get a phone call in. We might be able to get a phone call in before JJ comes on. Can we put that in the link? Not on the actual phone, but if you click the link in the comments, you could actually pop up on the screen before that. If you're watching, see you have nothing to do other fixing the fence post. So you did new title. Yeah, new titles. Been busy, mate. We're upgrading ourselves, Mr. Beddoes. We're upgrading if you're watching the show. Not only have we got brand new titles, Mr. Beddoes, you might also be asking, if you're watching the show, what this is behind me. It's called The Wheel of Features. That's right, everyone. The Wheel of Features. It's something that I devised the other day. Saw it on Marketplace. I've got to be honest with you. I saw a spinning wheel from a game shop. Get me have a cup of tea here. That's my AF tonight, everyone. Alcohol free. I saw a spinning wheel on Marketplace. I thought that would do good for the shows. Because we have got so many features. If you've been listening over the past few weeks, we've got a ridiculous amount of features that I've been trying to cram in to a 1-hour show. Right? Now, ironically, even though I'm showing you the Wheel of Features, we're not going to do the Wheel of Features tonight. Because we've got a fantastic, hopefully, guest coming up. I know it'll be a good chat, don't worry. But I will show you the Wheel of Features, everybody. Thus far. Don't know what that means. So basically, right, I was trying to cram in too many features onto this show. as well as having some great conversations. So what I did is I brought a wheel with all of the features on, and what we do is, whenever we're ready for a feature, we spin the wheel of features. It's easy as that. So, for instance, let me just turn this mic around. For instance, it's landed on Tin to Win. Tin to Win, everyone. I don't know what tin to... Well, it means if you phone in, you can win. Win big, or your name goes in the tin. Or... Ground Force Bingo. We've not had a Ground Force Bingo for a while, have we? We need to bring that back. If we hit Ground Force Bingo on the wheel to win, not the wheel to win, the feature, what is it called? What is it called? What? I just said it. What was it? What is it called? I had a great name for it. I just said it, didn't I? That is what I'm saying. My mind just goes blank. The Wheel of Features. Thank you. Or spin it again, everybody. Ground Force Bingo again. This is rigged. Hang on. Story time. If you want a story time, we've got Ask Olive. Call in to win. That's a 1 minute thing you can call in instantly. Chili Friday. School garden success plan. What else we got? We've got Gardener Mates. How to get kids gardening. Costa Bingo. That's not a coffee reference. Costa Bingo, if anyone remembers that. All the good stuff on the wheel. One thing that is not on the wheel, which should be, is this man, Mr. Stuart Jackson. Hello, Stuart.
Evening, mate. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. What's going down?
Not a lot. No, quiet day. Just put the onion sets in.
Oh, nice.
At school, not at home. I haven't had a chance at home yet, but at school they're done.
Oh, that's good then, matey. Wait, I spoke to you. Wait, did I speak to you last week? I can't remember if I spoke to you last week.
No, last week I was otherwise engaged, mate. My daughter broke her ankle.
That's it.
At uni, so I had to go and get her and sort
out. Is everything all right now?
Yeah, she's had an operation and had it plated and pinned.
Brilliant.
It's just I got to get her to Cardiff every Thursday for the next 6 weeks.
That's what parents are there to do, mate.
Yeah, it's better than her taking a year out.
Yeah, that's true. Crikey.
Yeah.
Garden wise, so you planted some onion sets?
Yeah, we've done onion sets and garlic this week.
That's good, man. This is one of the things that I wonder, right? Because I don't really do much. I don't like onion or garlic, so I don't never plant onions and garlic. Do kids like onions and garlics? Because I know Olive. If I said, Olive, we're going to plant some onion and garlic sets, she'd be like, nah, not having it.
Well, I think it was the size of them more than anything. You know, it's cauliflower seeds. So I had cauliflower seeds. I can't remember what the other ones were. I had 3 or 4 seeds out, and then the onions were there and the garlic were there. And can we do them onions? Yeah, fine. So they're in a little raised bed. Well, a little box, and they've been filling that box up over the last 3 weeks with molehills. So it's got really good compost in it.
Brilliant.
So they've been clearing the molehills on the school field.
It's a really good idea. Do you know what? We don't get many moles around this way. We might do, but they're not. I've never seen a mole around here.
Yeah, we get quite a lot in our school field. So it's been quite interesting. I think I read, if it was bags of compost, probably 4 over the last 3 weeks.
Wow. It's good to have moles about, isn't it?
Yeah, it saved me a fortune in compost. So, as you know, I don't like spending money. Yeah, the kids have done really well so far. Both the raised beds are full now, and this box is full. So we have to harvest the potatoes and the beetroot to make room for other stuff.
That's good news.
So, yeah. Oh, they've sown peas as well. We've done first a lot of peas.
Oh, wicked, man. Good time.
Well, our good friend sends a list out every month, as you know, which helps me plan my lessons. It's great.
It's very helpful, mate.
As well as, of course, the gardening success plan.
Well done.
So get that in.
A fantastic quote that you wrote on Twitter has gone on my website about the school success plan.
It's amazing, mate. It's absolutely amazing. I've showed it to a couple of teachers and said, look, tell me what you think. If you think it's like confusing or what. No, it's simple. That's what we need. We need it plain and simple.
Yeah, do you know what?
It's great.
Do you know what keeps happening to me recently, Stuart? Yeah, is you're a big supporter of mine, so I big up to that. But people keep sending me stuff like, "Oh, this brand has just sent out loads of stuff to a school," or Morrison's did something recently, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, they've took your idea." The only thing is, like with that, is and I keep saying this, and this is one of the problems we've talked about before, is that it's great schools getting materials and stuff, but it's knowing what to do with it, right?
Yeah, and Morrison's, it looks absolutely wonderful what they're doing, but when you actually nail down into it, you've got to collect so many vouchers to get a shovel or a spade or a trowel, and when you get them, they're the ones that me and you don't like.
Don't like them, do we? We hate them.
No, that is one comment. Kelly that works with me, Miss Noonan, big up Miss Noonan. She picked out one of the trowels the other day, and she went, "They're adult ones." I said, "No, they're adult designed for kids." She thought it was wonderful. Why haven't these been done before? I said, "They've always been there, just people don't get to see them."
That's it, mate. That's it.
So everybody's loving it.
There you go. That's good, man.
That's great. It's quality brands in it as well. It's not, you've not done it on the cheap. Does that make sense?
It's like 8-9 years of test and stuff out, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, well, we've all done it as well. As a parent, I've been out and bought them, green and red spades or trowels, and you put them in a bit of clay soil, and it just bends and snaps.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
So finding a quality tool like that is going to help me long term, because you've given me the mate you've given me in the package, and then I will go and order 6 or 7 more. So it will do the brand good long term as well.
That's it. That's what it's all about, mate. It's about longevity, not just a hit.
That's the word. I was thinking of that, trying to think of that word just now. Longevity. That's a cracking word.
I'm here for.
You've been eating a dictionary.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Mr. Jackson, it's lovely to see you, mate. You looking well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The sunshine's doing me good.
That's good, man. It's good. I shall privately bail you next week.
Yeah, no problem, mate.
All right.
Yeah, anytime you want.
Nice one, dude. All right. Speak
to you, mate. You take care. Bye.
The fantastic Mr. Jackson there, everyone. Right. If you want to find out more about the school success plan, there'll be an advert later for it. Don't panic. Then please check out the website. Really loving working on that this week. I'll talk about it later, probably. Hey, talking about adverts, let's have one. Let me interrupt this amazing podcast by saying thank you to one of our sponsors. Works-UK.com have got you covered out in the garden. I don't know about you, but after a hard week at work, I want to get amongst the plants, get my hands in the soil, and really get gardening over the weekend. And one of the things that, can be a bit of a chore is cutting the grass. That's the first thing you're going to have to do on a Saturday. Well, not anymore with the help of Works-UK.com with their incredible Landroid. You know me, I talk about it all the time. I think robotics in the garden really going to help us get rid of those chores so we can do the fun stuff. And the Landroid from Works-UK.com is the perfect thing to do that. It's really simple to use. It's plug and play, which means you just press go and away it mows. It's Gardener's World Magazine Best Buy, and it's all controlled through the app. The robot will do all of the work by going out in the garden and cutting your lawn for you. And all those tiny little clippings, that's right, no more chucking the grass into the brown bin, wheeling it down into the driveway so they can go and pick it up. No. The robot literally cuts the grass throughout the week with the tiniest of clippings, which acts as a natural fertilizer. It doesn't get much better than that. They've also got a range of amazing garden tools to make your life easier and DIY tools too, all battery operated. So it's worth checking out works-uk.com right now for your next garden or DIY job. Honestly, Works have been helping me out massively. One, obviously, like I said about that lawnmower that's been sorting out my grass while I've not been touching the garden. But also, their DIY tools, mate, worth looking at. Check them out, works-uk.com. What's Sugsent? Anyone else having buffering, or is it just me? I think we've got low signal tonight. Work things up. Maybe not the signal, but definitely the chat. Is JJ, everyone. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. That's all that really matters, mate. Dude, it's lovely to see you.
Yes, and you, mate. It's been what, 3 weeks?
It's been 3 weeks, man. It's been honestly. Well, so everyone, this is JJ from the Bearded Grower Radio Show.
Growers.
Oh,
Well, technically, I am a bearded grower tonight, as Bish couldn't join us, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why I said it. That's why I said that.
I thought so.
Honestly, I've done like interviews before, and I had so much fun coming on your radio show, dude.
That's good. That's good. Thankfully we do get that feedback quite a bit, so we're doing something right.
Dude, the reason why one I've got you on is because you had me on your show is Wicked, and you guys got so much energy for your radio show. But also,
on a Monday as well.
On a Monday, exactly right. Also, right, like maybe I was a bit like flipping heck. I've got some competition now because someone else has walked in with like ridiculous amount of energy, and I can't be having that. So basically, I got you on tonight to take you down, mate. But
okay, that's fine.
But also, like, you guys have popped out of nowhere. Like, I feel like all of a sudden, like, all I keep hearing about is the Bearded Growers radio show.
Well, that's music to my ears. It's music to both of our ears, to be honest. And we have popped out of nowhere. We literally arrived on the scene in June.
Wow.
So we've been 4 months, literally 4 months this week. So since our first show, and it has seemingly gone from strength to strength. I've never done anything like this before at all. So a complete novice to the radio. Bish did do a sports show previously for about 2 years. So he knows how to mess with all the bits and bobs and make it work. I just have to turn up and talk. So without him on the controls, it might be a different show.
Mate, have you let's like rewind before we talk about really going into this radio show thing, man. How long have you been a gardener for?
I've always dabbled in the garden. I've always tried. I was notoriously one for, gets to spring, garden looks a bit miserable, spend a couple of £100 down the garden centre and make things look a little bit nice for about 6 weeks, and then forget all about everything and repeat every year. But I was brought up. This sounds weird. I was brought up on an allotment. My old man had one. He's still got it now. He's probably had it now for nearly 40 years. So I spent every weekend at the allotment. I spent most evenings over there in the summer. Not helping very much, I've got to be honest, and under duress most of the time. But something got into me that I wanted to do it. So we moved into our new house. It's an old house, but it's got a massively long garden, and it's about 50 meters by 4 meters. So it's stupidly long and very thin. And it was tiered over about 6 different tiers. So lockdown gave me the opportunity to try and turn that around. So that's where I really started getting into it and realized how much I actually really enjoyed it. From then, I managed to get myself on an allotment, so I've got that as well. So there's a lot of gardening and a lot of uptake, and it's, for me personally, it's just been a breath of fresh air, and it's changed how I've got an outlook on gardening and plants. I mean, these things behind me started off as the wife's obsession, and I've got to be honest, I've fallen in love with alocasias. So it gets into your blood, I think, gardening, and if you're into it, you're into it. Everybody should give it a go.
It is a bit weird, isn't it, like that? Because I don't know about you, like, because obviously you've got Bish, so you can sort of like bounce off of him. And I used to talk to my brother a lot about it because we used to do a lot together before we split, like Oasis. But I don't know. I don't know if you're like with your other mates when you talk about gardening, it's a bit like I don't know, like they don't feel it, and I'm like, how can you not feel that?
Yeah. They glaze over, and it's like, I'm sorry for boring you, but it's my passion, so I'm quite happy for them to be bored. But if they get an issue, like I've got a mate of mine. I stored some trees for him because he moved house. He wanted to take them with him, and I took them round, dropped them off, and he was like, "Right, I'll plant them in a couple of weeks." And he called me. He's like, "How deep do I plant this?" Like? And I'm like, "Oh God." So I ended up going around, having a look. Really clay soil. So I'm like, "You really need to dig in some organic matter in there and loosen this up, soften it all up." He's like, "I was just going to dig an hole about 6 inches deep and put an apple tree in there. And this is like a 6-foot apple tree." I'm like, "No, you need to do it properly or else it's going to die." So every time I go around now, I check the trees just to make sure that they're doing all right,
How do you learn all this stuff as well? Like, what is your main profession?
I'm a contracts manager for a building company. They do refurbs.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've worked in construction for over 20 years now. I've not got any horticultural background. It's just literally watching, listening, learning, reading. I've got a bookcase absolutely full of gardening books. I mean, over lockdown, I really did get into to Gardener's World, if I'm honest, because it was like nice seeing someone outside.
Well, it's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I got into that, and I just like to listen to it, and I like to see other people's perspectives on it, and watching these garden transformation programs. I mean, it's great. Wish I had the budget for them. I've got to be honest, but seeing what they do and trying to do it on a smaller scale or a cheaper scale, and just trying to do that, I'm happy to give anybody advice, and I'm more than happy to listen to advice, and I think that's the important thing with gardening.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, like when I first started, people asked me a lot, like, "Oh, are you going to go and do like any like horticultural training and stuff?" And I'm like, "Well, as soon as I left school, mate, like I didn't want to do any more any more exams ever again."
I've looked at it. I've looked at the level 2, and I'm like, that looks difficult. That.
I'm sure for some people it'll work perfectly, but I think we're in a world now, JJ, that is like so many people are into gardening and learning different things. Like if you come to me, I'll be able to smash out and tell you exactly how to get kids gardening and the simplest things to grow and what to do and when to chuck it in the soil. If you started asking me about trees, I'd be like, "Nah, that ain't my thing." And I think the way social media and that is going at the moment, everyone's got their own little thing that they'll know exactly what to do with stuff. And communication,
social media at the moment is great for that. The amount of people on there who are sharing and even asking questions. And I do find out of all of the social medias, Instagram is the one where you get the most assistance and the least resistance, if I'm honest, because it seems like a friendly plant community on Instagram, which, more power to everyone if they can. That's why on the show, we weren't going to do anything at all with indoor plants. We, neither myself or Bish, we've got no interest in indoor plants, really. We've had a couple, they normally die. But we got talking to a guy called Johnny. He's the bearded plantaholic.
Yes.
And this guy his collection is insane. He's got a jungle in his house, basically. And I didn't know this, but I know him through my wife. She knows his partner. She knows his missus. So we said, well, come on and do a slot every week. So he comes on and he does sort of 10, 15 minutes in the terrarium, giving indoor houseplant advice, and people are loving that. They're all over it. So we couldn't neglect the houseplants. They had to come in.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm very much with houseplants. I'm like, if it dies, I'll just buy a new one. I'm not very good. Can't say I'm very good looking after houseplants, matey. I don't last long around this place.
Yeah. Well, we found that the main issue people do get with houseplants is they water them too much.
Yeah.
A lot of them are from the tropics. They're quite happy to dry out a little bit, to be honest.
We had a beautiful house plant in our bedroom, and all of a sudden it really started to die quite horrifically. And my wife's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, she watered it. It was swimming."
Right.
Yeah. So not good. Yeah.
It happens, and it's very similar to outside. I mean, allotmenting and gardening. If you've got a shady garden, you're gonna struggle, and you're not gonna get the best out of plants that need full sun.
Yeah.
On the allotment, depending on what your soil quality is, you're not going to get the best. I just listened to you with the other guy talking about onions and garlic. Mine were ravaged this year. I got allium leaf miner. They were done. Yeah. Just started looking nice, and they were gone. And apparently, it's quite normal on there for people to get allium leaf miner. And I'm like, I don't really fancy finding them in my bulbs.
Not really, not exactly.
Nah.
And when did you get your allotment? In last year, was it?
I got my allotment in April this year.
Oh, this year? Wowza,
man. Yeah. I was on a waiting list. I think I was number 25, and there were 60 plots on there. And I'm like, I'm never going to get one of them. I've got no chance. And luckily, someone I know is on a different site, and he said, there's only 2 people on our waiting list. So I switched over to theirs, and I'm just lucky that the first person on the list didn't want a half plot. He wanted a full plot. Otherwise, I'd still be waiting now, to be honest. So happy days.
Wanting a full plot, craziest.
Yeah, I don't know how you deal with it. With a garden and with work and everything else, a full plot's crazy, especially if it's been neglected, which unfortunately mine had. No one had my plot for, I'm told, 15 years.
What, a plot had been sitting there for 15 years?
15 years, because someone had been paying the ground rent on it. They left them on there. So
how did even the allotment police or whatever they're called?
Well, I'm in Worcester, and unfortunately, Worcester's allotment policy was very lax. As long as you paid, they didn't care. They've just had a review from the National Allotment Association, and they've given them a list of recommendations, which is 19 pages long. So they're going to try and they're going to try and reform it. They were the only council in the country that would allow someone who didn't live in the council borough to have an allotment.
What?
Yeah. Figure that out. So, you could travel from outside the county to an allotment in Worcester.
That makes no sense at all.
Absolutely no sense.
Jay, so how's the plot going then? Because I remember when I got my plot, it was in a right state. And like you said, yours was in a state. How has it been going since you got hold of it?
Brambles. It was it was full of bramble roots. And I'm talking giants. They look like aliens. So I've managed to get most of them out by hard work. There's no other way around it. You can't no-dig a bramble. We have this debate with Bish all the time. He's a no-dig man. I'm definitely a dig man. He's converted me a little bit, so I've got my beds in. I've liked to section it off to my old man's horror, because he's like, you don't need any beds, just plant stuff. I want a bit of order and some paths through it and make it look pretty. So I'm getting there. It's just a work in progress. Got very sick of French beans this year. They did amazing. Everybody else was sick of them, as I couldn't give them away in the end. It's that learning curve. The tomatoes got nailed by blight, which I think most people's did this year with the weather we've had. My winter potatoes, they look like they've got blight as well. So he's just figuring it out. It's the first year. I want to know what grows well, and then I can work with that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, it's all a learning curve, even on the allotment, in it, to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's different, man. Like I used to have an allotment in Colchester. Then I got an allotment over in Ipswich, and different things happen. Different soil, different sunshine. I don't know if it's different. But,
it all depends. I mean, we're quite lucky on ours. It literally, we get sunshine all day. So, I mean, it depends which way it's facing, I suppose. You're going to get certain areas. And it's knowing what your guy next door is going to start growing. Because when he puts his big bean canes up and it casts your allotment in shade for 4 hours a day,
Yeah.
You're like, right, I'm not going to grow something that needs light there next year. It'll go over the other side. So,
Hey man, have you got into like any allotment politics yet? Like any little niggles?
I personally try and stay out of them.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't sit on the fence. Let's say I'd end up siding with someone, so I just stay out of it. I've sort of become a bit of a focal point over there because I put a pond in. I had to get permission for my pond, but since then, I go over and there's people just stood looking in my pond. I'm like, all right.
What are they looking for?
Someone put basically it was next to an old YMCA building which has been bought out by Worcester University. They own everything now in Worcester, and there was a big pond in there, and they filled it in.
Right.
Someone found this big frog on the path, like wondering where's my pond gone, so they put it in mine.
Oh, Christ, mate!
And since that's been in there, there's now 3 quite big frogs in there, and people just keep coming and checking on me frogs.
So I was all that time you were telling that story, I was just thinking about some cowboys are building Red Indian round your pond, mate. Sorry. I was literally while you were saying that, I was trying to think how I was going to squeeze that joke in, but I couldn't. So this allotment in gardening started happening. So how did the radio show, man? How did this juggernaut of a show?
Well, me and Bish, we've known each other since we were at secondary school together. And after that, he sort of went away. He was working abroad, and he's been down in Kent and moved back up here. He's towards the Cotswolds. So he's not too far away, and we kind of reconnected because I was a guest on his sports show.
Right.
Because of my sporting physique, I used to do a bit of fishing.
So not on there for fishing.
That's
not a sport.
Well, no, loosely termed. You've heard our show. His was crazy. So, yeah, I was on there for me just because I knew him and it was a sport. And since then, when his show sort of stopped, because he was a bit stuck, because they used to have like guests in the studio and it was sports, and sports are kind of shut down. So, and the guy he used to present with couldn't do the same show day anymore. So that got stopped. And we've been talking and flicking a few things backwards and forwards. And we were looking at podcasting first, but not necessarily garden related. It was going to be sort of an ordinary people's podcast. So listening to ordinary people's stories, because you see podcasts and they're normally great and they're interviewing celebrities and people that you know, and you're like, oh, okay, they're interesting. But there's so many people who've got fascinating stories. Yeah. So we were working on that. And we were throwing a few things around, and then he told me he got an allotment, and I'm like, right, okay. Well, so have I. And he's like, why don't we try doing a gardening show? And I'm like, I'm game. Let's go for it. And it was almost that, we dropped one idea and went straight into this one.
Oh, amazing, man. That's so cool. Well, where did the ideas come for it? Because there's so much energy around your show.
We've just freestyled it together, to be honest. The wife's pretty good. She's our show manager. She looks after most of she looks after most.
Mikey, I was like, these guys are big time.
Well, no, she does it. She gets paid in house plants.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. No, she's great. She looks after the social media and stuff like that. So we just try and keep it not necessarily fresh. We want to do things that people are actually interested in. So we've got the tool of the week. We've got the jobs for the week ahead, which is good. It just gives people sort of 4 or 5 things to look at and have a think about. We've got the indoor plant section now. We have a guest every week at 9 o'clock. That can run from, I think the shortest one's been about 10 minutes. The longest one was about 35 minutes. Because if it's working and it's flowing, let it go. Let people talk,
Brilliant.
And it's trying to get different subjects in and different things that people are interested in. We've had Koya products on, so they obviously gone away from peat-based compost. It can be completely diverse. We've had a young guy on. He was talking about young people and getting into gardening and how that's going. Mental health. We've had great guests on with mental health, and that's really close for me because it's something that I've dealt with and I'm dealing with, and gardening definitely helps, and your physical health and your mental health, and that point we can't push it home enough, really. And sustainability. We're all about that, and so we try and do. We're both very organic. We don't use pesticides. We don't use any fertilizers. We share our stuff with bugs. That's cool. They can have them. We try and put something else in the garden that can feed on them. So good pests, and try and combat things that way. And just trying to get that, or not education, because we're not an educational show. We're off our heads most of the time, and we're having a laugh. And it's just two mates literally having a giggle, talking about gardening. And that's what we just try and do, and try and keep it a bit loose, really. I don't want to sit there telling everybody Latin names of plants, because that goes way over my head. I've got no interest, you know.
I've got literally a feature on my show that is that. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but if you're sort of sat there and you're telling people over and over again that these massive long names, garden centres don't even sell them with that massive long name on.
We used to have a feature on the show which slagged off Latin names, yeah. And
right, okay.
And now we've got a feature which we basically rock up a Latin name and chuck it out there and see if anyone actually knows it.
I think Verbina's as good as I can get, you know.
Say again.
I think Verbina's the best one I can get to.
What's
about it, really. The purpley flowered long thing grows like a weed.
Okay. Okay. So I'm saying, like, I don't know. Still don't really know why they have them on plant labels.
No, man. No, it's just why, you know, call something a Cosmos. That's cool. It's a cool name.
Doesn't need to be overcome, especially if it's being sold in shops.
Yeah. If you're selling it to horticultural people and it's wholesale and stuff like that, fair enough, crack on. But if it's just selling it to Joe Public, I don't think it needs it. I mean, I'm not one for dumbing down. I'm sure there's many people out there who converse in Latin on a daily basis, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I don't think it's dumb. I don't think it's dumbed down. It's talking to an audience, isn't it? It's like, like for a lot of my friends, I always get questions about from them. Like I get a text through saying, "Oh, I'm chucking this in my garden. What the hell is it?" Yeah. And if you're going into like any of the big sheds or even to a garden centre, then I think they should like talk to the audience. We've got a garden centre around our way, which is really good at that. Actually, they've still got the plant labels with the fancy names on, but they're really good at writing like what it is, where it needs to go. Boom, sorted.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the information needs to be on there as well. So, I mean, what you're concerned with is it going to come back next year? Is it a one-off? Does it want to be in the sunshine? Does it need loads of water? That's pretty much all you need to know.
Well, first thing, I was asked someone. I was on stage once, right? And someone said, "Is it a perennial?" This is a long time ago when I first started, and I went, yeah. Why they complicate it for?
I've no idea. An annual, I always used to think, came back every year.
That's what
because it's annual.
Come on, I think someone needs to come along and just destroy that.
Revolutionize it a little bit. Just call them a one-off. That'll do.
Mate, you talked about earlier. You talked about watching Gardener's World and things like that, and I think we talked a little bit on your show about what I thought about Gardener's World. Like now you've got into it a little bit more and started watching these garden programs. What you thinking?
It's not just you that said it, but I'm with you completely. Things look out of reach, to a normal person. You know, not everybody's got a 20-acre walled garden, and it would be nice if there was some dumbed down. No, it ain't dumbed down. There was some features on normal gardens. You know, an 8x8 back garden. How do I make that look pretty? That's missing for me.
Without spending about 40 grand,
without getting the makeover program on BBC Two or on ITV, without getting them in and spending thousands. How can you turn my boring slab of grass into something pretty? And you can take things away from Gardener's World and stuff like that and say, "Oh, that's nice. I'd like to try that in my garden," and that's nice. Not all of us have got places for heat mats and greenhouses, and it is frustrating. And the more I've watched it, the less I'm actually watching it live. I'm skipping through to the bits that I'm interested in.
If I'm honest with you, if I do ever watch it, I actually don't mind. I do give Monty a hard time sometimes, but I don't mind watching what Monty's up to. I love watching Frosty, obviously, and we'll talk about him in a second because I know he's your new bestie.
It's not my best. It's Bish. Bish is all over him.
I mean, I'll talk about him in a sec. But I know I love Carol and I love Joe, but them bits in the middle just do not talk to me at all.
No.
So, you know.
Stately Homes, how they cut the grass. They cut it with a lawnmower, the same as everybody else does. It's just one guy gets paid to do it all day.
Yeah.
Kind of get that. When they had that on 3 weeks on the bounce about how they cut the grass on a stately home, I'm like, right, okay. Who does that relate to? Is there a guy on another stately home thinking, I should do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. I don't know. It's difficult. It's different. It was nice when you were getting more of the viewers' videos because they were real gardens.
During lockdown. I thought I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, they were good. And having different people on during lockdown. I've liked the stuff that Will Young's done. That's quite cool. I know his gardens, it is a big garden, but you can tell he's a novice, but he's got the passion for it. And that's the interesting thing to watch. Kate Garraway, when she was on there, that was very interesting. Obviously, she was doing it because she wanted to see, her husband to come home and see what they're done in the garden, which is cool. And it's keeping the kids occupied while all that was going on. Again, very interesting. And you're right, Frosty. When you get to Frosty's, you're like, yeah, I could sit in there and have a cup of tea with him,
Yeah, of course. Frosty, innit? You interviewed Frosty recently.
We did.
We all know he's a geezer. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, he puts you at ease, doesn't he? Pretty much straight away. There's no pretenses. There's no airs of graces with him. He spat his tea all over Bish, which was brilliant. So Bish has been dining out on there. I don't think he's had a wash since, if I'm honest.
No.
But no, he's great. I've said this to a few people. The only thing that was missing from that 40-minute sit down and have a chat was probably a pint.
Yeah.
And we could have done that in the pub at that table at Malvern Show. Could have been anywhere, and it didn't feel like you were actually interviewing someone.
You guys need to take with you a travelling pub and get people to come into the pub. It's a copyrighted Lee Conley.
What I need to do is I need to get the guests around to mine because I've got a pub in the back garden.
Have you really?
Yeah. I've got a 10 by 8 Dutch barn in the garden. I've converted into a pub.
Well, if you get Frosty over to that pub, make sure I'm invited.
Okay, if we get there, we'll do that. But now we're trying to get the set, you see. We're trying to get the Gardener's World set. And all of the others are giving us complete radio silence. So this could be quite difficult.
Right, mate. Let me know next year when you go to the shows. I'll get you. I don't know, actually. I'm promising all these people, like, no. It took me. Yeah, I saw Joe Swift for about 3 years backstage, and every time I couldn't get him until one day I jumped on, I was like, get on here for Swifty. 3 years it took me to get him.
Well, we were surprised. I mean, Malvern was the first one we've done as a show. And they were great. I've got to say, at Malvern, they were really accommodating to what we were doing and what we were trying to do. And when they asked if there's anybody we'd like to interview, and we said, we looked at each other and went, should we say Frosty? And they went, yeah, okay, we'll sort that. And we were like, what? Really? We've never met him before. We're new to all of this, so we didn't know what to expect. And then when we met him, we understood sort of why he'd given us the time, because he just seems like a genuinely nice guy.
It was a really good chat, man. I really enjoyed listening to that chat. It was good, man.
Yeah, it was. And he couldn't say Bearded Grows Radio either.
No, well, there you go. It's your own fault for coming up with such
3 times he had to do it.
Oh, mate. What are you thinking of the shows, man? Did you ever go to them before you got into this? Or
yes, I was. I've been a paying custodian at a few of them, to be honest. Really like going to Tatton. That's a good show. We've been Gardener's World Live, which, to be honest, we went to the last one and I was a little tiny bit disappointed.
Right.
It was busy. It was outside. The weather was nice, so it was good to have a walk around, but the content was sort of didn't feel right. It was lacking a little bit, and it was the shops were all a little bit gardens, not garden century, but it was like ornaments and metal sculptures, and it was like every other store was like that, and it just didn't feel right. The food bit was almost as big as the gardening section, so not really what you're there for, I suppose. But it was all right. It was a good day out, and we got to see Lisa from the Kitchen Garden, because we've had her on as a guest. Her show garden was really, really good, I've got to say. We got some great inspiration for that. I mean, there could be some paths taken up and done the same as that. So you never know.
That's good, man. What is the future, JJ? What's the future then for the radio show? Because
Well,
the thing I was going to say to you, I was going to say off air, but I'll say it on, is I really want a bit more work for you guys. I want your show, but edit it. I don't want the music. I just want you guys.
well, it's something we've looked at. We have got all the shows saved, because we can't just stick them straight onto YouTube, because they just mute the music. So that'd be quite boring for everyone. But you get the silence. So we have got them, and it's something we are thinking about. We're going to start doing lives on Instagram, but inviting people in as well. So it'll be a communal live with up to 4, I think. So so we'll pick a subject and just put it out there. If anybody wants to come on, and we'll have a little chat, and people can listen and ask questions. Just do that. So we're going to float with that one. Next year, we're sort of toying with the idea of trying to tie in and do a community garden somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's in the Cotswolds and I'm in Worcester. So at the moment, we're like, well, we need to do 2. We need one by me and one by you. Otherwise, it's unfair. But the show is in the Cotswolds, so it may end up there. So I think there's a few loose conversations going around with a couple of schools to see if they would be interested in us trying to put a community garden together and reaching out to the wider gardening community to see if they want to help. But there's a few things in the pipeline, and we're going to keep running with the show. Initially, we were going to stop at Christmas and say, right, we'll have a Christmas special, have a couple of months off. And I'm like, no, we've changed our mind. We're just going to run through.
Yeah.
The gardening chat, obviously, is going to be a little bit more difficult, sort of January, February, but you've got that prep and keeping people going. You can keep it going for the year. I mean, you snip our talking out, you've probably got 25, 30 minutes. The rest of it's just tunes and us absolutely raving out in the studio. Because when he does the top of the crops, we've started doing that live now on Instagram, and we rock out to that. And people are watching it. So, it must be doing something right if people are watching.
Definitely, man. Top of the crops. I wish I got that one. That is a good name.
I'm not very good. He's trying to quiz me, and I'm like, you're going to get me every week, mate. I've got no idea. I know when a song's a banger, but other than that, I don't know when it was on.
Mate, when can we hear you? When's the show on, dude?
We are live on Mondays at 8 p.m. until 10 on nccr.co.uk. You can get it via smart speakers. You just need to shout, play North Cotswold Community Radio. You can listen via the webpage, nccr.co.uk, because it is an internet-based station. We're played Listen Again at, I think it's 6 till 8 on a Thursday. So we've got a second slot, which came out of nowhere, because even the station were like, this isn't going to work. And now they're like, this is great. Let's play it twice a week.
Well, good to listen again, mate.
And you can listen again all week. The Listen Again link's there. It's up on Mixcloud, and it's also on the website, NCCR. We share it like mad, so you can't really avoid it.
Can't miss it. I've got to keep you up on Instagram as well. It's always good entertainment over there, mate.
Yeah, we do try it. I mean, we did an indoor one last night. I was on there for about 25 minutes just talking absolute garbage.
I watched it earlier.
I'm no expert with these things, so I can only go on my experience.
That's what it's about, man. It's all about experiences.
And if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, can't blame me. I'm just a hobbyist.
That's it. There you go. That's your out. Done. Mate, thanks so much for your time tonight, dude.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me on, mate.
Speak to you later, man. Bye-bye. JJ there, everyone, from the Bearded Growers Radio Show. Let's have an advert, and Just have an advert. Almost the end of the show, and what a show it's been. I want to say thank you to the School Garden Success Plan. That's right, the School Garden Success Plan, which is out right now. Last year in 2020, I went on tour around the country, and one of the biggest things that I found from School Garden that was missing was support for teachers. Yes, the kids love it. They love getting outside in the garden. It's great for their well-being. It's great for their education. But the biggest thing that was missing is that support for those teachers. So we brought together the School Garden Success Plan, which provides all of the equipment from the raised bed to the tools, to the seeds, the compost. Then we've got the lesson plans, the video lessons for the children so they can see what they're going to get up to during that lesson. But most importantly, 24/7 support. That's right, 24/7 support for those teachers to help their class get gardening. We've got 30,000 primary schools in the UK. By 2025, we want every single one of them primary schools to have at least one place to get gardening as a school. Like I say, we know the benefits of gardening with children. We know the benefits of getting it into schools. Now is the time to stop talking about it and make it happen. The School Garden Success Plan is available right now for $499 plus VAT, which after 10 years of being in this business, I've used pretty much every garden tool there is, and all of the equipment we put in to the School Garden Success Plan is quality, and I know it's going to last. And we are here not as a campaign, but for something over the next 10, 15 to 20 years to make sure that school gardening is successful right now in education. So if you want to find out more, it's skinnyandgardener.co.uk/school success. That's skinnyandgardener.co.uk/school success for your class to get gardening this year. Wow, the School Garden Success Plan. We'll talk about that more next week on the show. Wasn't that great, man? Honestly, should I say? I'm doing something right next year. We're doing this. Don't worry, we're keeping the phoning going. That's still going to be a definite. But I'm doing a new podcast where we do really long form chats. JJ and Bish, I'm getting them on that show for sure. That's a new podcast coming out in 2022. But I'll talk about that later. Right. Thanks so much, JJ, for coming on. It's in the show notes. If you listen on the podcast, then in the show notes, you'll be able to get a link to their show, the Bearded Growers Radio Show. Everyone, the Bearded Growers Radio Show. I'm going to hear a lot more about them, guys. I got a feeling, guys. I got a feeling we're going to hear a lot more from them, especially on their radio show. So there you go. Thanks so much, JJ, for coming on. I hope you enjoyed that. Stuart saying I'll be on the guest list for JJ's pub. I bet you will. He also says, "Can you come and visit our school, JJ?" I think JJ lives right down near you, doesn't he, Stu? I think so. I don't know. That was so good. We could chat for ages. Right, but we can't for one reason and one reason only. Everyone is because I was explaining the what's it called? The Wheel of Features. Everyone at the start of the show. Another new thing, and Liam's just rocked in. Oh man, I've only just realised this was on. I've missed so much. Liam, you've rocked up in the final 7 minutes of the show. Where have you been? Don't worry though, Liam, because you can listen to it on the Skinny Jean Gardener podcast, available in all fantastic and not so fantastic podcast apps. Everyone, that'll be available at chat. I reckon tomorrow, Friday night, I'll get that up as quick as I can. Right. Cheers, JJ. He says, thanks, Stuart. Before we go tonight, if you watched the show, thanks so much for everyone that's watched tonight. Big up to you. I know there's been maybe some connectivity issues if you're watching, but I wanted to show you this because another thing which I've been promising for ages is the garden. Now, if you might have heard me talk about it quite a bit, I'm creating the smallest family garden ever. For that exact reason, me and JJ were just chatting about programs like Gardener's World and you know, some social medias and stuff like that. Ridiculous size garden. I've been a culprit of that. I was very lucky in my last place to have a ridiculously long garden, and you'll see it in the book available right now. But I've been creating this small garden, and you can now. Here we go. Wait for it. If you watch the show, let me just see if I can do this. Wait there. You can now see the garden. Let me go out now. Not only can you see it, watch this. Here we go. Wait there. Don't go anywhere. As he unlocks the door. You not only now can listen to me talk about it, we actually can physically be out here. As you can see, it's a little bit, crikey, some big spiders up there. A little bit bare at the moment. The famous fence post is finally in. But tomorrow, if you're watching live or listening instantly, or just if you want to watch it back, I'm building the veggie pod finally on Friday, which I'm very excited about. We're going to put that over here, which means that we can start growing stuff in it, put plants in it, start actually growing again, which I'm so excited about. Going to get this fence painted by next week's show. So we'll have loads more in next week's show that I'll be able to show you on the show. So if you're listening to the podcast, you are really missing out. That said, everyone, if you do watch the show, next week, I'll be doing the show live at 8 a.m. I know, right? There'll be a rerun in the evening at 7 p.m. But if you want to take part, if you want to phone in, 8 a.m. But isn't this amazing? Like, huh? This is, audio-wise, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, but you need to come and look at it. It's amazing. I'm impressed. Anyone? Okay, no worries. Let's go back into the studio. I'm loving that new little aspect out there. Let's come back in here. Let's get around here. Oh, crikey. Okay, hang on. Let's turn that. Here we go. It's not the smoothest. Let's be honest. It's not the smoothest transition back into the studio. We'll work on that, right? We can work on that. Here we go. We're back. We're back, everybody. And that I can't say that on the podcast, JJ. I do need to put some oil on them hinges, though. Right, that everyone. I thought it was quite smooth. It's looking good. That is the size I could do with. It's a small space, Stu. It's a fence panel by a fence panel, big, and we're going to get everything from this, not award-winning, but it should be award-winning, possibly, book, How to Get Kids Gardening, into that small space. For the very reason, someone asked me the other day why. For the very reason, all is from this book, you can do. We're doing them. The veggie pod's not in there, but it's essential for growing, let's be honest. So there you go, everyone. So there you have it. What a show tonight. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks, JJ, so much for coming on the show. A really great chat. If you want to listen back to that, you can. And thanks to our sponsors, works-uk.com, everyone. The legends that are have really been helping me out with their tools. We'll talk about them a little bit more next week. I'd probably be using them this weekend on the little garden. Also, thanks to bestdaysvintage.co.uk. Big up to them. We didn't put their advert out tonight, but big up to them. If you want to look good, feel good, or feel better, then do check them out. And obviously the School Garden Success Plan, which is a fantastic Mr. Stuart Jackson talked about earlier on. Bigged that up. If you're loving the show, make sure you give it a review. 5 stars only. You know how it works. If you're not loving it, then go listen to the Bearded Growers, I suppose. Thanks so much. Much love. See you next week. Remember, 8 a.m. You're beaming positivity and radiance. You look amazing, mate. What just happened? Hey, mate. Or, right, I love singing, right? So I could be a singer, you could be a back and dancer, band. Oh my God. Oh, I know this. Oh, guys. Right. Oh my. Oh. Right. We're just gonna have to go off script for a second. Absolutely idiot proof. Oh my gosh, Danny! Forget it. Get out of here. That was unexpected.